Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive. Today we're going deep into the world of work.
Work, 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 work. That's right.
Always working, right? But seriously, have you ever stopped and really thought about how differently men and women experience the work week?
It's definitely not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Nope, not at all. And we've got some fascinating data to prove it.
Oh, data.
Data on the screen, numbers come alive. Male, female flows where the patterns thrive. Visual charts, public colors unify. Gender decoded, bringing truth to light. Small drum fill. We break it down, real talk. Trends unveiling facts from every block. Here's your insight, watch the data glide. Gender decoded, let the beats collide.
All right, let's dive right in today. We're looking at a chart, a visual really, and it compares how men and women spend their time working, like their working hours during the week.
Okay.
And, first glance, it's just a chart, just lines going up and down.
Right.
But the more you look at it, the more you see how much it reflects like societal expectations, the economy, maybe even some hints about where things are going, with work and all that.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we're going to try to unpack all of that today.
Sounds good.
So right away, there's this big peak in the chart around the 44 hour mark, the classic full-time work week for a lot of people.
Yep.
But the thing is, that peak, it's mostly men.
Okay.
Like it's this huge spike for men, but for the women, the hours are way more spread out across the whole week.
Huh.
And that's what we try to figure out today. Why is it like that?
All right, let's get into it.
So another thing that kind of jumps out at you is all the women working part-time,
Yeah.
especially between 16 and 32 hours. It's like this whole other section of the chart.
Yeah. And that makes me think about the second shift.
The second shift.
It's kind of this hidden layer of work that a lot of women end up doing.
Oh, I see.
Like even when both people in a couple have jobs, it often falls on the woman to do most of the childcare.
Yeah.
The cooking, the cleaning, taking kids to the doctor, school stuff.
Yeah, all of that.
All that stuff, it adds up.
So it's like they have two full-time jobs then.
Yeah, basically one at work and one at home, and you can see that reflected in the chart.
Right, because if you're doing all that stuff at home too, something's got to give.
Exactly.
And for a lot of women, it means cutting back on those work hours.
Yeah.
It's definitely something I've noticed with my own friends and family. There's this expectation that women will just, handle it all.
Right.
But, okay, let's look at the other side of this chart now,
Okay.
where people are working 45 hours or even more.
The long hours.
Yeah, and it's pretty obvious who's putting in that extra time.
Yeah, mostly men.
So why do you think that is?
Well, I think it ties back to the whole breadwinner thing,
Breadwinner.
Like the traditional idea that men are supposed to be the main earners in the family.
Oh, okay.
The ones who bring home most of the money.
Right.
It goes back to those old gender roles.
I see, but on the surface, those long hours seem like a good thing, right?
Well,
Dedication, maybe a quicker path to getting promoted.
maybe, but is it really a reward if it just ends up limiting other people?
That's a good point.
Like, we're not just talking about individual choices here.
Right.
It's a whole system that rewards a very specific way of working,
I see.
a way that kind of assumes someone else is taking care of all that other stuff at home.
Yeah.
And historically, that someone else has been, well, women.
Makes sense.
So it's not just a personal choice, it's tied to bigger expectations.
Right. And that brings us to the money part of it all.
Okay.
If so many women are working part-time because of all this pressure, doesn't that mean they're going to earn less over their lifetimes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like their pensions will be smaller, they'll have less chance to get promoted.
It all adds up. It can really impact a woman's finances throughout her life.
So this chart, it's less about individual choices and more about barriers in the system.
Exactly. And that's why we need to look deeper. These aren't just numbers on a chart.
Right.
These are real people, families with real economic consequences.
Okay, so things are looking kind of bleak here,
Wow.
but I do see a little bit of hope.
Really?
Yeah, look where the lines for men and women start to overlap more,
Oh, yeah.
between 35 and 40 hours.
Hmm.
Maybe that's a sign that things are changing a little.
It could be. Maybe workplaces are getting more flexible.
Yeah.
Or maybe attitudes about work-life balance are shifting.
Maybe more men are helping out at home, too, you know?
Yeah, that could be it. Hard to say for sure without more research.
Right.
But any move towards things being more equal at home and at work would be a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. For everyone.
So before we wrap up, what really stood out to you about this chart? Well, for me, it's how even with these little signs of change, it still shows those traditional gender roles sticking around.
Yeah.
Like, to really get equality at work, we need to do more than just individual effort.
Right.
We need to change those deep-rooted societal norms.
Yeah.
We need better policies at work, a culture that supports work-life balance for everyone, not just men or women.
It really is a whole system, like you said earlier.
Yeah, and it's going to take all of us working together to change it.
This has been a really eye-opening look at this chart, and it's just a snapshot, right?
Yeah, just a starting point.
We've only just begun to dig into all this. There's so much more to think about.
Definitely.
So keep exploring, keep asking questions, keep the conversation going.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.